Welcome to the Wager Makers Podcast with Webb and Smitt.
Brick by brick, baby. I'm freaking out, Webb.
I was told there'd be no man. Stupidity's going to be an asset. What a bunch of crybabies.
Hello, my name is Steve Smith, and this is Rob Weber. Say, hey, Webb.
Hello. What's up, Smitt?
What's up, Webb? I'm Smitt, that's Webb, and we are the Wager Makers. This is the Wager Maker Podcast. Thank you all for joining us. Got a lot of action. We're down to the Final Four in the NFL. We got college hoops. We got NBA. We got NHL. Lots to talk about. Big round of playoffs in the NFL just got over. We got the Final Four coming up. And Webb, this is Wager Maker Podcast number 78.
Brick by brick, baby. Time flies when you're having fun, Smitt. 78, another one came easy to me. I'm sure you're going to frown upon this one yet again. Leon Lett, the big cat, number 78 from the Cowboy heyday. Defensive tackle, loved him. Infamous for his debacle on snowy Thanksgiving Day in Dallas. Well, I guess, was it in Dallas? Or it was against Buffalo, I think. No, it was against Miami. Yes, it was in Dallas.
It was in Dallas. I believe
yes,
it was obviously it was snowing. It was in Dallas, not in Miami.
It was funny. Everyone laughed, Cowboys laughed all the way to yet another Super Bowl victory that year. So that was mine. It came pretty easy. 70. I don't need to look it up. That's why there's no exotic guys on there. So
right. Wasn't he also the one running the ball when the Buffalo Bills receiver knocked it out of his hands too?
Yep. Smart guy.
He was a great player, but also just showed up when I looked it up. I didn't have a 78 top of my head. Art Shell, offensive lineman for the Raiders, and actually a coach for the Raiders a couple times as the head coach, and also Anthony Munoz, perennial All-Pro offensive tackle for the Cincinnati Bengals, famous number 78s. Just so this is turning into the top 100 Dallas Cowboys of all time, but it's all right. I'll give you a little. I'm going to ask you to give me a little today too, so we'll give you a little bit today early on.
For your fucking nonsense. and a little trivia: Leon Lett, till this day, he's been a defensive line coach for the. He's like a pet cat for Jerry Jones. He's been and he survived. He's like a cockroach. Every regime, exactly. He survives. Like the building falls down, but he still walks out. He says he's been there for quite a number of years. For a long time now.
That's funny. So he just remains on Jerry's payroll. So
yeah, right. I guess that's what he listen. Anyone who takes a job, you just gotta, there's one that's staying. So and he looks like he made it on this one too. So
yep. Oh, he's even with the McCarthy regime. He's hanging in there.
Well, yeah. Well, even they fired the defensive line coach. And they brought in a new coordinator. They brought a new defensive line coach. But Leon Lett survives still.
He must be like the mole for Jerry Jones.
Yeah, right.
Stay there. You gotta watch what you say. If you're McCarthy and stuff, you gotta watch what you say around.
Right. Put him in a corner and just see.
All right, Webb. So some big games this past week. Obviously, the Ravens got knocked off by the Bills. What were the other games?
I'm going to pat my back on myself on the back here yet again. The Lamar Jackson. When are we going to say that this experiment is over? Yes, they made the playoffs. Okay. So you want to make the playoffs and get embarrassed, at this point again, it's over. He's not going to work. He can't do it. He cannot do it as is. You need to throw the ball at some point to win at this level. That was a hell of a move he made in that game last week or whatever. Tennessee. Correct. Yes. But that was it. So, you got to score. You can't score 13 points. You can't have the quarterback scoring every touchdown at this level of the playoffs. So we were right about Lamar Jackson.
Right. We got that one right. We had the Bills for sure.
Now as the quarterback.
Right. We got that one right. We had the Bills, obviously. And then we on the show last week, we took the Packers, and then we kind of had a change of heart on Saturday morning, I guess it was, and went with the Rams, but we still had the over in that game. I think that came through.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm still waiting. Aaron Rodgers he's the toughest guy to root for, but he's good, man. There's no doubt.
Right. And then on Sunday, I guess we had taken the Browns plus the points, and they covered. Crazy game. Obviously, Mahomes, we'll be talking about that a little bit later, about the concussion protocol and whether or not he's going to be able to play or whatever, and that game coming up. And then the late game, obviously disappointing for me, but we did have the Buccaneers plus the 3. and we had the over. I don't think they got the over, but
no.
But we had the Bucks. But we had the Bucks plus the 3 here. Obviously, I went with my heart a little bit on Sunday afternoon. I went against what we did, and I put some money down on the Saints. I got caught up in the hoopla down here in the French Quarter, and went ahead and put a little money on the Saints. It didn't pan out too good.
You don't learn. Every time this year, you're not going to win. It's happened 3 or 4 years in a row. It just doesn't, next year you won't have the same heartbreak.
Yeah. Well, I got a few things I got to get off my chest here, Webb. And we got in a group text today, and I kind of told you what path I wanted to go down on this show tonight a little bit. I'm wearing my Drew Brees jersey. And I want to go on record a little bit as saying, if you don't mind, just hear me out a little bit and let me say my piece. And then we kind of went back and forth within a group text with the guys today, and a little bit of disagreements and agreements. But this isn't really about that as much as I got a little something to get off my chest to Drew Brees. I think in our efforts here at the Wager Makers podcast to stay impartial over the last couple of years, we've been in this business for about 2 years now. Like we said, 78 episodes. We try and do our best to stay impartial. And like I said, last week we took Tampa. Last week. Go ahead. What do you say?
I try my best to be impartial.
Right, but every guy on the top 100 is from the Dallas Cowboys. But yeah, we both try.
Yes. Do you hear any? Do I have a fucking Dak Prescott jersey on? Right? Did I have that when he broke his leg? Did I do a eulogy at that point?
Well, there's no eulogy here. I got a couple things I'd like to get off my chest. If you just let me, we can move on, and then I'll argue with Drew Brees with you for the rest of the night. Or if you want to agree with me or disagree, I got something I got to get off my chest here, Drew Brees. Now, in our haste to be, in our efforts to be impartial, I think I was very critical of Drew in the last couple of years since we've been doing a podcast about his physical abilities later in his career, about some of the things he said in the media. Unfortunately, later in his career, got him he got in a heat wave, but both sides of the standing, sitting, kneeling.
The quote was, "It's not going to end well in New Orleans for Drew Brees."
Okay, well. That being said, I got some things I want to say to Drew Brees, and I think people might have misunderstood as me being a fan and a supporter of Drew Brees. So, what I want to say is this: we could talk about stats all day long. We can talk that Drew Brees is a Super Bowl champ. He's a Super Bowl MVP. He's thrown for 80,000 passing yards, number one in the NFL history. 570 plus touchdown passes. He's a 2-time offensive player of the year, Walter Payton Man of the Year. When he got to New Orleans, from 1967 to 2006, the New Orleans Saints won one postseason football game. And from 2006 until 2020, they've now won. He won 9. He went 9-8 in the postseason. He's thrown for 5,000 yards 5 times. The only other quarterbacks that have did it only once. Okay, he's a 13-time Pro Bowler. 7 times he won the yardage leader for the year. 4 times he was the touchdown leader. He's the 2010 Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year, the 2010 AP Male Athlete of the Year. He's got a 98.7 career playoff win percentage, but that's not what this speech is about. All right.
How could he have a 98.7 play? You just said he was 9-8 in the postseason.
98.7 career passer rating. And he was 9-8 in the postseason.
98%. Okay.
Okay. All right. I want to tell a little story, if you don't mind humoring me for a few minutes.
What am I going to say?
All right. So I want to tell you about 2006, Webb. 2005 was a very difficult time here in New Orleans. It was coming off of Hurricane Katrina in 2005. There was talks of in 2005 season, the Saints played home games in Baton Rouge. They played a home game at the New York Giants. They played home games in San Antonio. There was talk of the Saints leaving New Orleans and playing in San Antonio or other places were looking for teams. Many places in New Orleans, businesses were not sure, much as COVID is today, not sure how things are going to turn out in the end, not sure if New Orleans was going to bounce back. Not sure what was going on. We were all in a rebuilding, but but we needed some big name people, some big businesses, some big time people to step up and show that New Orleans was here to stay, and that New Orleans was going to stick around, and New Orleans was going to bounce back from Katrina. At 2005, Tom Benson got rid of the whole staff. After that, it was the Hazlitt. That was the Hazlitt, Aaron Brooks, Joe Horn type regime. And he brought in Sean Payton to start 2006. And with him, he brought in Drew Brees. Drew Brees was coming off a devastating shoulder injury. Miami was looking at him, but didn't quite make the same commitment to Drew that Sean Payton did.
Nick Saban.
Yeah, there you go. And I think they ended up getting Dante Culpepper, if I'm not mistaken, over there in Miami. But anyway, New Orleans took a big chance on Drew with the shoulder injury, and Drew took a big chance on New Orleans coming here in a city that really didn't know what was going to be like to bounce back. And not soon after that, and not only that, but Drew Brees didn't just do what the other NBA stars and the other NFL stars usually do and buy themselves a big house in the suburbs. Drew and his wife, Brittany, they bought a house in uptown New Orleans, a rebuild of a really beautiful house uptown that was devastated during a storm, and really rebuild and really started to become part of the fabric and part of the community here, as opposed to just another player living in the suburbs making $1 gazillion. He was a big part of the comeback. Soon after Drew Brees got here, all of a sudden, word got out that the Houston Texans were going to be picking Mario Williams as the number 1 pick instead of Reggie Bush the same year, 2006. Unbelievable news. All of a sudden, it sounded like Reggie Bush was going to fall in the Saints' lap. So it was just more excitement coming around the team, but not everybody knew it was going to be there. We were just happy. We were just happy to know that the team was going to play. Webb, there was I don't know if you remember the pictures in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina, and the devastation.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
And the Superdome just had pieces of siding falling off the side, and the roof nearly collapsed, and holes and sunlight and rain coming through the Superdome. And I remember going to work every day during this time. It was a couple of years almost and a big banner outside coming September 2006, Saints football. And I'd pass that sign every day to work, pass the sign every day to work, pass the sign every day to work. And I just remember being like, man, I cannot fucking wait. I cannot fucking wait for that day. It was a big day if you're dealing with New Orleans and seeing all the devastation and day-to-day living and seeing that devastation. So finally, going into the 2006 season, sure enough, it was the third game of the season that would be. And so we were just excited to have football. And so anyway, the season starts. The Saints play on the road 2 games in a row because the Superdome wasn't ready. So they play Green Bay and Cleveland, both road games, and they end up winning both. Cleveland, they won opening day. You're like, yeah, well, it's Cleveland. They got a good, new regime. They won. Drew Brees played a pretty good game, whatever. Then they go to play Brett Favre. Rodgers wasn't even there yet, or he was a backup at the time. They go to play Green Bay, and they win that one. So 2-0. So all of a sudden, this game that was just going to be like symbolic, all of a sudden meant something, because the Atlanta Falcons were also 2-0. And the New Orleans Saints, all of a sudden, their arch rivals in the NFC South was also 2-0. So anyway, we all know what happened that day. Webb, you were there. You were there?
Yep. I was there. I was a Saints season ticket holder for a number of years.
Yep. So just great. I often say that it was the best day of my life. I say it to my wife and stuff, and she gets kind of annoyed at me, but she was there. So it's not like I'm saying it was some day that she wasn't around. It was the best day of my life. It was also, hey, we talked to our buddies today, Jeff Plasinski. I think it was his bachelor party was going on at the time. All the guys were there. Obviously that's the big day. Steve Gleason blocked the punt. U2, Green Day, the Saints are coming. It was the coming out party for the city, and I'll never forget that day. Right? And since that day, that was just the beginning, Webb. There's been so many days since then, right? And I'm not talking about the X's and O's, and I'm not talking about the wins and losses, but I was also there for a Monday Night Football game in 2009 when the Saints just beat the shit out of Belichick and Tom Brady and the Patriots. Drew Brees was the first quarterback ever to throw for 5 touchdowns against Belichick, and his passer rating was a perfect 158.3, and they ended the game with the New England Patriots with Tom Brady sitting the bench. All right. There was many memories.
What year was that?
One.
What year was that? What year was that?
2009. 2009.
What year is it now?
It's 2020. I'm getting to a story. It's building a story.
21.
It's called a story. I'm building up. Building up.
We're waiting.
All right. So what I'm trying to say here is, Webb, I'm not talking about, we can argue about Drew Brees' legacy. We can talk about where he stands in the national picture and where he stands in the thing. But I want to take this moment right now to tell Drew Brees, thank you. Thank you for being there for us. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for helping us along the way for 15 years, being a stand-up guy in the community. And Webb, I'm not just talking about wins, right? I was there, a 13-0 Saints team when the Dallas Cowboys came in, and you were in there too on Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
And Dallas came in the house and whooped them, right?
Yep.
But it was a great day. We had a fucking awesome weekend. Me, you, the boys had a great.
Allegedly, it's all a blur. I guess I was there.
All right. Well, I remember that shit like it was yesterday. I saw a big white T-shirt up in the 600 section getting in fights and stuff. I think that was you.
That was probably me.
Right. But anyway, I remember being in the Superdome when Brett Favre got beat with the Minnesota Vikings and Hartley hit the field goal to go to the Super Bowl. All right. And I'm not just talking about the wins. I'm talking about your game. I'm talking about wins, losses. I'm talking about all the great times I've had in the Superdome for the last 15 years and watching games and spending time with my wife, spending time with my family, spending time with my best friends, watching Drew Brees play football. For always being a stand-up guy, Drew Brees, I thank you. For being here for this city, I thank you. For all the times I've had over the last 15 years. Brees took a chance on this community, and he's been a fabric of this community for a long time. And I can't even state it enough how much he helped the city in the comeback, and how much he'll be forever ingrained in the fabric of the city. I've been there for playoff games, time and time again. Just some of the greatest days of my life, Webb, were spent with this dude, rooting for him, and I can't think of a better guy that I would have to root for in my entire life. So we can argue who's the greatest, and I'm not saying he's the greatest of all time. He's certainly the greatest Saint to ever play the game. I give the Saints fans a lot of shit about stuff to cry over a lot. If you want something to be sad about, be sad that the Drew Brees regime is over. You know, we're going to move on. The Saints are going to be okay. They have a great front office. They got Sean Payton. But Saints fans don't know how spoiled they've been to have a kind of guy that you can root for on and off the field every week. And if Drew Brees, if you're out there, the Drew Brees family, I want to say thank you for an incredible, incredible 15 years. And I appreciate everything you've done. Some of the greatest times of my life have been over these last 15 years. And it's much appreciated. So, and thank you for giving me a second there to. All
right. Well, first of all, Drew Brees, whatever. Yes, he was there for a lot of that shit. You were rooting for the Saints. Had nothing to do with Drew Brees. You would have rooted for me if I was the quarterback of the Saints at that point. Couple important things I wrote down here. Number one is you said 2006 when he got there, same year, coincidentally, that Sean Payton got there. What happened these past years when Drew Brees was out? Did the Saints miss a beat? No. You got one player, one person to root for if you're a Saints fan. He's still going to be there, and it's Sean Payton. Second of all, you said Drew Brees took a Saints on New Orleans. No, he didn't. What fucking choice did he have? Miami didn't want his ass. He had two choices, and he took the one that would take him. He did some good shit. Listen, you can't argue with his stats. Number one in passing, but he's been and because that is a system dude who went into that whole. It wasn't for Sean Payton. Drew Brees would be the quarterback coach of fucking Purdue right now. Okay, he'd be Dave Hunt with a better college record. Come on now, no offense, Dave, but come on, dude, you got to.
You're losing all credibility. First of all, stop moving around because nobody's hearing your argument. Stop moving all around the table because you're cutting out.
You told me I can't touch the table, so I got to step back.
No,
Drew Brees took no chance. Drew Brees went to the contract that was offered to him. Okay, that's what he did. And thank you, Drew, for taking the, what was it, $150 million that he made over these years? Thanks, Drew. You're a stand-up. Wow. You bought a house in New Orleans? Whoa. What a guy. Here's $50 million. Here's $150 million. You're great. Now let's go back 3 months ago.
Can't hear a thing you're saying.
His grandfather.
Can't hear the thing you're saying, Webb.
I'm standing right on the mic.
Yeah, you must be moving around or something. It's breaking up every time.
All right. Well, let's go back.
Go ahead. Go ahead and start and then I'll piece it together.
All right. Let's go back, Smith. You said 2006, okay? Right? Coincidentally, that's when Sean Payton got to the Saints, okay? There's one, Drew Brees, you can't deny the stats, the wins, Super Bowl MVP. Hey, good for him. Awesome. That can never be taken away from him. He deserved that. He worked for it. He earned it. Without Sean Payton, Drew Brees would be coaching. He'd be the quarterback coach of Purdue. Or if he was lucky, he'd be the head coach. But the other quarterback, Brom, is not a coach. He'd be Dave Hunt of Purdue. No offense, Dave. And for you to say that Drew Brees took a chance on New Orleans is ridiculous. If Drew Brees had his druthers, he'd be in fucking South Beach right now throwing touchdown passes to whoever. He wanted to go to Miami. That's where he went. He went where they signed him. And you're going to thank him for buying a house in New Orleans and for taking $25 million a year for 8, 9, 10 years? Okay, Drew. Thanks. Thanks, Drew. Come on, man. You better. Drew, I'll tell you one thing. Drew Brees needs to worship at the altar of Sean Payton. Because without Sean Payton, there is no Drew Brees. Regardless, he's a good guy. Great. What is his wife? Brittany? You're friends with Brittany? Yeah, good for Brittany. Good for the kids. It was so nice. Look at Drew Brees' family on the field. Okay, cool. My family's on the field after every fucking softball game I coach. I don't see motherfuckers talk about that on the podcast when they're sitting in their fucking garage freezing their balls off, do I? No. Thanks, Drew. Thanks. Thanks for choking again. 3 years in a row in the playoffs. And let's hear you talk some shit about when's the Saints beat who'd they beat? Peyton Manning. That was 2 teams ago. So just step off on the Drew Brees fucking, Jesus Christ, Drew equals Drew Brees. Please.
Dude, spent some of the greatest times. I'm going to stand by what I said. Some of the greatest times
if I was the quarterback of the New Orleans Saints in 2000.
And if the guy was an asshole, it wouldn't be the same. I'm sorry. The guy was a dick. Go back
3 months ago when you're like, it's not going to end. It's not going to end good for Drew Brees. There's that locker room fracture.
It didn't end good for Drew Brees. It didn't end good. Did it?
He choked again in the playoffs 3 years in a row.
Dude, it's a choke. The dude's 9-8 career. You don't think he's played in big games to get to the playoffs?
I didn't say he didn't. No, but now 2 years ago he choked after in the Minneapolis Miracle, whatever, in overtime with the ball through a pick. Last year the same shit in overtime, fucked it up again. Now this year they just got beat because he can't throw the ball 15 yards. He had a great career, nothing against him. Move on.
You got no heart, Webb. You got no heart. I'm not talking about the fucking.
I ain't talking. I got no heart. I got no heart. I made $250 million and went to New Orleans because that's the only team that gave him a fucking contract. No.
Unbelievable. Trying to tell you something about the man.
Hurts.
I'm sad to see Drew Brees go. I'll stand by it. Stand by it.
I hate to. Let me tell you, Drew Brees is fine.
Stand by it.
I think
you can wallow in your team's mediocrity for the next fucking 20 years. The fucking Dallas Cowboys have won 3 playoff games in the amount of that time that he's been here. 3. Looked it up.
Of course you did. I had to do fucking research.
Since
I'll tell you right now, I have won
3 fucking playoff games. The Dallas Cowboys.
I know it off the top of my head. I don't need fucking Google. I know it.
Because Jerry Jones fucking because he fucking hangs out on a yacht. So
that's I would to Drew Brees' fuck.
I would gladly trade the last 15 years of Saintsdom that for the Cowboys piece of shit fucking franchise they got going on.
Okay, good for you. What the fuck do you have to do with anything? That and $4 to get you a beer. Who cares?
I said what I gotta say. I said what I gotta say to Drew Brees. To Drew Brees. I hope he's listening. I hope you're listening, Drew.
Yeah, Drew. Thanks for taking the money. My heart breaks for you. Somehow I think you'll be okay.
My heart's not breaking for Drew Brees, man. I'm just going to miss him. You know what? I'm going to miss him. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to miss rooting for the dude.
No.
I'm not saying he's going to have a bad life. He's already got a contract with NBC or something. Not worried about him. Talking about me.
Go back to the table code season. What did Drew Brees say about his granddad was in the fucking Army or whatever it was.
Well, what?
Who cares?
You're not allowed to speak your mind unless you told a fucking thing for the other side.
I'm just saying what you said, man. I don't give a shit what he says. I'm just saying you're all wall up now. A couple months ago, you were running a dude out of town.
Nobody's running somebody out of town. I said it was going to end bad. It did. He's catching flack for nothing. For giving it, for laying it on the line every Sunday. He's catching flack.
Yeah.
Malcolm Jenkins and his fake ass tears.
All right.
All right, we can move on. I had to say it, but I knew you'd give me shit. That's why I'm gonna. Hey, you know, Tyrann Mathieu, right? He's a New Orleans guy, the Honey Badger. Of
course.
Just want to bring out what he tweeted the other day.
And who cares?
I do. All right.
The Honey Badger. What if he tweeted something bad? Would you bring it up if he tweeted something bad?
Yeah, maybe I will. I've been critical of Drew Brees in the past. That's the whole point of this.
Okay. What did this so deep and philosophical Honey Badger have to say about Drew Brees?
New Orleans natives, just being from New Orleans, Drew Brees meant everything to us in that city. At many times, our only hope. To smile and feel good, to live in a winning reality. That man gave us all life. None of us are perfect, but he was close. Salute. Nah, that's the Honey Badger.
Wow.
That's the Honey Badger.
That's going to go on his tombstone.
Honey Badgers don't give a shit about nothing.
Right. Except Drew Brees.
I didn't expect you to understand. Honestly.
There's nothing to understand.
I didn't expect you to understand.
Yeah. No, I don't understand. Never will.
All right.
So, somehow I think he'll be rooting for who's ever behind center next year come September 10th.
Certainly will. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. All right. We can talk some about the other games last week. Kansas City, obviously Mahomes went down. The fourth down play that fucking Andy Reid called to go for it and throw a pass with Chad Henne was unbelievable. Balls out, Andy Reid on that play.
I mean, I'm not the biggest Andy Reid fan. That's well known, but I mean, he was playing with house money. It was a great call. Obviously, it's always a great call if he gets it. But definitely ballsy play. They were the better team. He was kind of playing left-handed, obviously, without his quarterback. More power to him. We'll see what happens this week.
All right. So we're down to the final four in college. Any takes of interesting thing from college hoops, Webb? Which we're losing. We got Clemson tonight, and they're getting smoked by Georgia Tech. This is the first time, Webb, since night. Go ahead.
No, it's just an odd. I mean, I don't think Villanova's played 3 games or something. It's just an odd season. It's more than halfway done. I think Carolina's only going to have 26 games total. They usually have 30 wins in a season. It's weird. Everything's fucked up. I mean, I don't know. There's no big takes. Yeah, it's a two-team race. It's going to be Gonzaga and Baylor, depending on who's going to play that out. So, it's definitely a weird year. It's been a weird couple of years to be a Carolina fan, but I don't know, man. It's the NBA is the same way. It's bizarre.
I thought it interesting, Webb. This is the first time since December 1982 that North Carolina and Duke are not in the top 25. Unbelievable. And then when you add Kentucky in the mix, who's also not in the top, it's been since 1961 that all 3 of those teams have not been in the top 25.
And Kentucky and Duke are just outright bad, which is just crazy. Carolina is at least young and kind of struggling a little bit. It's crazy. It's weird, man. It's like I said, but even in the top 2, the drop off from Baylor and Gonzaga is dramatic. I mean, the argument would be Villanova, but I don't know if they played 3 games. So, I mean, what's going to happen, when the tournament starts? It's weird.
All right. Go over just real quick. The NHL, we've been starting to play some NHL games. I got a little bone to pick with you in that one too, Webb. We had the bubble team. I want to go on record right now and saying I'm from New Jersey. I'm a New Jersey Devils. I got no horse in the race, really. I'm a New Jersey Devils fan. Last year we got behind the Rangers because they were in the bubble and the Devils were not. All right.
Yeah.
You pick against the Devils every day. They got a good little thing starting here.
I don't
You
pick
got
against them
burned
every
by it a
day.
couple times. Your Rangers. What's the deal with these guys from New Jersey that try and get to be Rangers? I don't understand this.
First of all, it started last year when there's nothing else to fucking bet on. That's A.
Yeah.
If
it was in the
Devils would have made it, I'd be a Devils fan. The Rangers made it. Nothing wrong with Rangers. They're one of the first 8 or whatever it was for hockey. They have a great history. There's many times I've been to the Garden to see when Gretzky was on. I was there for ask your boy Krudensky. I was there for Gretzky's natural hat trick. I was there in '95 when they won it. So I have a tremendous amount of history, personal history with the Rangers. I wasn't the biggest hockey fan. I still am not. I'm trying to get more and more into it. To me, there's no discernible difference between the Devils and the Rangers. I spent more time personally with the Rangers. And even back in the Waverly Place, we used to play street hockey, and I used to say I was Phil Esposito. So shut the fuck up, Smitt. You're talking more shit. So another fucking bat down by Webb. Thank you.
Oh, just shut the fuck up, Smitt. That's your comeback on it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right, in other you beat me in other debate, you won, I guess.
Exactly.
All right. So anyway, we've been doing hockey. Make sure you check us out on Sports Watch Monitor. We've been doing hockey picks on the regular as well. So we got the Maple Leafs tonight
of all time is first quarter over. It was hot for a while, but it's cooled off here a little bit. So
all right. Webb, your team, the Mets seemed like they were making some moves. They picked up some couple good players this week. And then they, lo and behold, Dpicks strike again, and they got to get rid of the general manager. What's going on over there in Shea Stadium?
Let's slow the roll. Let's pump the brakes on my team. Let me be well known. I was a Met fan growing up. Okay, I'm not the biggest baseball fan in general, because I worked in the industry in 92, 93, 94, 95 when they were on strike. I worked very closely with the grounds crews, particularly at Shea Stadium, and I saw how that devastated them when these fucking douchebags went on strike. So, having said that, I do have ties to the Mets. I was a Met fan growing up. They're morons every day. It's just, I don't know how. I think I vet the dude that cuts my lawn, the landscaper that cuts my lawn. I think I vet him deeper than the Mets, the dudes that they hire. This guy was in charge of what's it going to be, $240 million payroll. They don't check out anything he's done in the past couple of years even. And how about the dude? She ignored 60 text messages, Smitt. 60. Yeah. It's pretty. I mean, you and I can blow out a couple hundred text messages, but that's, yes, no, like right back and forth. Right. For someone to ignore 60, outgoing messages to you. And then the genius thinks, "Oh, I know what'll get her to respond. I'm gonna fucking get a little chubby going, and then I'm gonna send that to her. This'll get her. I'm in now. I can't understand. Listen, man, I'm 50 years old. I'm in my garage. It's fucking 29 degrees. Obviously, I'm the one who's a fucking moron.
But it would be a bad time. Where you're at right now would be a bad time for a dick pic.
Right. I mean, you can't, even I know. I'm not going to fucking shove one out and send someone who ignored 60 of my fucking text. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man. And then that's it. They've been holding on to that for a couple years, man. You never know. That shit's going to come back.
Beltran, they hire Beltran like they didn't do nothing. They did zero due diligence on that one. I don't know. It amazes me. The older I get, I guess shake my head. That's all I can do.
All right. In the NFL, Webb, we got a couple, some of these jobs are starting to get filled. Obviously, the Jets got the defensive coordinator from San Francisco. Urban Meyer goes to Jacksonville. Campbell on the Saints staff goes to Detroit. There's been a few others. Anything stand out for you?
Yeah, I definitely like two of those. I like Urban Meyer. We talked about this, I think, last week. You just give him the keys to the car and you let him run. You give him a couple years and see what's going to go on. I'm interested. I'm interested to see what he does with the first pick. Obviously, everyone's assuming it's going to be Trevor, but it's interesting that he was the one who brought. If anyone remembers, Justin Fields was a transfer from Georgia, I believe. He was one of the highest ranked quarterbacks going out there. But I do think it's going to be Trevor. Now, Saleh, I think he's a leader of men. That's what New York needs. They need someone to get behind. I think he hired the offensive coordinator. I think it was the quarterback from the Niners, which is okay. I'm not sure. That is a huge deal. They need someone that's going to get whoever along there. Interesting thing there, Smitt. He's a Muslim. I don't know if anyone knows. I don't know what that means.
I didn't know that. I don't know what that has to do with, but I didn't know that.
But I saw that pop up. I don't know. I don't know what that means. I think he's the first Muslim head coach, for whatever that's worth. I don't know what that means. Now, Dan Campbell, it's another. He was interim coach there for a minute, right? He was on the Cowboys he's a hard-nosed guy. I don't know that that's the answer. What's he got? I mean, he's got some very important hires to do with his OC and his DC to see what's going on up there. That's just a shit show. It's been a shit show forever, and I'm not sure that was the best hire. But I'm not, I'm open to it. But I don't know that you need a whole program runner, and I'm not sure he's a program runner. You need a CEO, and I think you might have hired a sales manager type thing.
Yeah. Interesting. A lot of talk, Webb, with Deshaun Watson going around. Any think there's some possible landing spots that might be good for him?
A 3-hour podcast on this one, just off the top. And I'm going to tell you this right now. This is going to be the best critique and analysis you're going to get on any outlet, not just a podcast, ESPN, NFL Network, or whatever. There's a couple landing spots. First of all, this is unprecedented. This is like fucking you caught the Easter Bunny, or you saw Santa Claus, when you're sneaking down the stairs. This dude is probably the second best quarterback in the league when you consider his age.
Right.
And if you wanted to go without his age, he's the third best quarterback in football. If you're the Jets, I don't know what Nick is thinking, Perone. You fucking.
His question every time is like, well, how much is that going to cost?
Fuck her up in a heartbeat. That change, you become literally, you're even with the Bills, and you're probably a little bit better than the Dolphins. If you're the Dolphins, you're a front runner for the AFC. Right. You're right there with the fucking Chiefs. Forget the Bills. Now, who can get it? A couple of things have to happen. First of all, the Chiefs, the Texans, they have his rights. They have to trade him. What if they say we're not going to trade him? Well, he can say, I'm going to retire. He was not going to do that for a couple of reasons. He's not going to, number one, he ain't going to get paid. Number two is it's not like next season he can be like, okay, here I am, guys. I'm back. I'm a free agent. Doesn't work like that. It's going to be a period of time where he's unavailable. They're going to own his rights for a period of time. So, and it's not even a bad thing for them to trade him because they have, first of all, no picks because of a horrendous job Bill O'Brien did bringing Laramie Tunsil in. I think they traded 2 first rounds and a second. And they're, I think, $50 million over a salary cap that's going down. So they were $50 million over the cap that's going to drop, I think, from 195 to 170. I don't know. I'm not sure the number. It's going down. They'd be prudent to get rid of him, the Houston Texans. In my mind, there's only 2 teams that have the cap space and the assets to bring him in. That's the Jets and the Dolphins. Who did the Dolphins give up? You trade Tua. You trade your pick, which is now, I think, the number 3 pick, which they got from the fucking Texans. And whatever else they want. You want a second rounder or a third, some conditional picks. It's probably going to be more than that pick and Tua. So whatever they ask you, you probably want to hold on to your second round pick. Maybe give them your third and maybe some conditional second round. If they want a player, depending on who the player is, fine. Now, what the Texans do with that is now you have Tua as your quarterback, at least a functioning quarterback. You have draft picks now, and you're out from a $156 million contract. Yes, there are ramifications for trading him, but you're still in a better spot. The second thing that the Texans do in that scenario, in any scenario, is you trade J.J. Watt. Same deal. You don't even need a player. Just get out from under that contract. You want picks, get 2 seconds, a first and a second, a first this year, whatever it is. Then you're back in business. You got a quarterback. You're losing games with or without J.J. Watt anyway. So there you are. Now, the other scenario for the Jet fans out there, and I can't, Smitt, you and I have been shaking our head at Nick for a couple days now.
Yeah.
If you're the New York Jets, this literally brings you back to 1969. You are not only relevant from a loudmouth head coach, Rex Ryan, you are a baller. You are a player in the National Football League, not only in division, in the league. Who are you going to give up? You're going to trade your pick with that number 2 pick, and you're going to give up Darnold. Why do you do that? Because the Texans need a quarterback that they can at least jog out there to the fan base and say, we got something.
Right.
And with Tua and Darnold, it's a number 1 pick. And what was Darnold? The number 3 pick, whatever it is. And not only that, you can do a hell of a lot with that number 2 or 3 pick in the draft. Again, with the Jets are going to have to give up more. I don't know that they'd even want any players on the Jets, but you're just going to give up draft capital, and it's fine because they get out from under, and they're going to get their picks. They're going to start new anyway, new head coach, new GM, and the dude is unhappy. The last thing you want is a quarterback that's unhappy. Second of all, a quarterback his reputation is literally spotless. It's like one of the best guys in the league. The city loves him. There's not one person who said anything bad about him. So you don't want him. You can't. It's not like of Antonio Brown where you got to do something to get some faith back from your fan base. So to me, there's only 2 destinations for them. And again, now the last part of that is Deshaun has to want to go there. He has a no trade clause, so he has to okay where he's going. It's been rumored that he said okay to Miami. Okay, if that's the only place he wants to go, easy. And I don't know why he wouldn't come to New York. He's going to make more than $150 million in endorsements day one than that $156 million contract he's got. So I don't know why he wouldn't want to come. Maybe he's just the front office is so bad, which may be the fact. Then just go to Miami.
Yeah, I think the Texans don't really have a choice at this point. It sounds like it's burn bridges all around, so they got to do what they got to do.
It's not the worst thing for them anyway. Yep.
Yeah, they're not winning with him at this point. Right. They're not winning with J.J. Watt. So
several years.
They need a total overhaul. And when you ask Nick Perrone, he's a Jets fan, and he asked all the questions that losing franchises would ask. How much is it going to cost? Like, imagine if Deshaun Watson played for the Jets for the last 3 years and his contract was coming up. Nick, what would you say? You'd be like, sign the man, give him the money. Well, that's all this is.
Same past years, right? And you're going to have to pay. There's every team that's going to at least think about making the playoffs is going to have $100 million quarterback, if not $150 million quarterback. So you're going to pay. Darnold's going to come. Either you're going to draft a quarterback in April, or you're going to pay Darnold. Either one, it's going to be just a year later. You're going to pay whoever that is $150 million. Right.
And when you talk about the salary cap, okay, a dude like Deshaun, like Darnold, is not making your offensive line better. Darnold is not making your running game better. Darnold is not making your defense good. Darnold needs things around him. Yes. Deshaun Watson, he makes your offensive line better because it's hard to sack. He makes your running game better because he can take off with the ball. He makes your defense better because you got a few extra first downs that he just picks up with his legs that wouldn't be with Darnold there. It's like, you're sinking more into the quarterback position, but that means you can play with a little less all around, which is what you have to do when you're paying an enormous sum to somebody. But if you want, quarterbacks are what make teams win and lose in the NFL.
It's a quarterback lead. That's been forever.
Do you want one of the better ones or not? That's all. The
Jets in the life of the Jets franchise, how many good quarterbacks have you had? One? Brett Favre at the end.
We talking about Joe Namath?
Right. And then Nick's going to come back with, what's his face? The butt fumble. Okay.
No, he said Testaverde the other day.
Right, okay. How did
he beat that? He was a stopgap quarterback 30 years ago. He was your bridge from like Ken O'Brien or fucking some shit to somebody else who still hasn't gone in the building and done anything.
And now, the argument is, and that what everyone's looking for, the hot take is you got to get the quarterback underneath his rookie contract. That way you can pay everyone else around him. Okay, let's name one quarterback that's won under his rookie deal. Pat Mahomes. Now, okay, right. So Pat Mahomes are just falling off trees left and right, obviously. Right. So I don't know why you would draft even if you get Trevor. There's no guarantee that Trevor Lawrence is going to be. Even they say Trevor Lawrence is the best project since Andrew Luck. How many trophies you see Andrew Luck holding over his head with fucking confetti falling down? 0. Right. Yeah, cool. Make the playoffs. Nice. If the New York Jets could grab Deshaun Watson, it's a lifetime change. If my kids were Jet fans, my younger kids, it's a lifetime change. It's a change. Now the Jets are now going to be good for their lives.
Right. Right.
It changes everything.
Minimum, you don't have to think about the quarterback position for 5 years, maybe eight or 10 years.
More than that, yeah. More than 5.
Right. And like you said, you put it perfectly when you said, when you put age into the equation, he's top 3 quarterback in the league.
There's no doubt. Who would you take above him? Mahomes, of course.
Mahomes.
That's the fucking Easter Bunny. That's the great white shark, whatever you want to call him. But there's not, that's an outlier.
Right.
By far.
All right. Jets. Anybody, if you're able to, go get Deshaun Watson.
I saw something, Smitt, that they said like there's all but, I don't know, like 16 teams or something that shouldn't call. There's one team that should not call the Houston Texans to
Kansas
see
City.
if they. Correct. One team.
Every other team, he'd be an upgrade. Every other
heartbeat.
team.
And he changes your franchise immediately.
Right.
Even if you're the Packers, you'd say, okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
Unbelievable. So anyway,
right.
Stop asking loser questions.
Right.
Stop asking questions of losers and say do you want one of the best quarterbacks in the league in your building for the next 5 to 8 years?
The question should be, what do you want? How do we get him? What do I need? What do we need to do to get him in this building?
Right. All right. Moving on. Anything else we got 2 big games this week coming up in the NFL, Webb. We got some winners or what?
Yes. What's going on? Let's get ready. What's going on? Let's talk. We mentioned Patty Mahomes' name a couple. Let's get into this here. What do you think about that situation? I'll kick it over to you. I was on my soapbox here for a minute.
Well, I think the NFL has for quite some time now said that their most important thing in life is player safety. I'll start by saying they've said this for a long, long time now. And actually, somebody brought it up right on that day and said something about Mahomes and this Sunday's game. And I think the first thing I said was they're going to come out right away and say it was mild, like right off the bat, and be like, well, listen, it was a concussion, but it wasn't that bad. He was feeling better. By 4:00 in the afternoon, he was already feeling.
Well, they're already talking about when he was running through the tunnel there. I mean, that's already their point.
Supposedly there's a concussion protocol that for most normal players and during the regular season almost always takes a couple of weeks. Is that not? It seems like to me. I don't remember too many concussions that have gone through the concussion protocol since it's been ingrained in the league and been back 1 week later.
I would kick you one further. I'm going to say I've seen dudes out weeks before 1 week. I don't know that I've seen anybody back the next week.
I believe he practiced today, just so you know.
Oh, he's practicing.
Like maybe limited, or maybe concussion protocol.
He was in uniform on the practice, definitely stretching, and like I saw him do that big walk where they touch their toe or what they touch it, like almost like a loose walk type thing. So he's on the practice field in a jersey with the yellow penny on in shoulder pads, everything. Today.
Right.
Today is Wednesday.
Right. So that's not even saying like, oh, the first time
is that even 48 hours? I wonder what time. Yeah, I guess it's just over 48 hours. It's not 72 hours.
Right. So what I'm saying is the NFL is going to go after the money. That's what I'm saying. The concussion protocol goes out the window when you're talking about money, is all I'm saying. The NFL should just come out and say it. Mahomes is playing this week. That's it.
I mean, I don't know that I can. There's no other way I can't hide from that. Yeah, just fuck it. Just say it, dude. He's a fucking professional. He makes $500 million. This is what the motherfucker gets paid for. He's playing. If he wants to play, we're not forcing him. If the dude wants to play, he's going to play. Plain and simple. And if they're going to hide behind, oh, he didn't get hit. He got choked out like it was an MMA thing. Did you see that argument? Like he lost, you see, because he got hit in the neck, like he didn't really get hit in the head.
Yeah, right. It looked like almost like a whiplash hit to the neck thing, maybe, or something.
Right. But what the fuck difference is that? Like, listen, just lose the hypocrisy. We all know it. I mean, much more respect would be given. Say, listen, he wants to play. He makes an ungodly amount of money. If fucking 25 years from now he's got CTE, his choice. Period.
Yep. So that's what I mean. I think they're gonna make it look like, oh, he's going through the protocol, and each day, oh, he's doing better, and I think he plays.
He's practiced today.
Yep. So anyway, he's gonna play, and NFL's this is different than every concussion protocol that we see all season long. If you ask me, I'm no doctor. I'm no doctor.
We've seen dudes 3-4 weeks.
Right.
Regular season.
So, but hey, it's what I want to see. I don't want to see them play against Chad Henne. I'm ready to see him play against Mahomes.
Don't get it twisted. I don't care. I want him to play.
Right.
Good. He should play.
Get paid a lot of money. Go play. You know what you're doing. If you don't want to play, don't play. If you don't feel like,
listen, I agree with that. Don't make him play.
Right.
Dude wakes up, coach, I'm ready. Go ahead, son.
Yep.
Now, get to the game. If he plays, they slaughter them.
You think?
I do. Well,
right now
I like the over more than that.
Right now I'm showing -3 for Kansas City. So that to me tells me that he's playing.
Oh, that tells me he's not playing. Well, yeah, I guess you're right.
You think the line would be higher than that?
I do. Okay. I do. I'm still the Bills. I'm on there. I'm not bandwagon. I still have the visions of Josh Allen last year's playoff in my head. That game. You're in some deep water, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a team that's been there. They played in these games. They've lost these games, and then they came back the next year and won them. They've had bad mistakes that cost them those games. The offsides against Brady 2 years ago. They know the ins and outs. I'm not a Andy Reid fan, but the dude does not care. He clearly he's going to go and be aggressive. They do have some defensive players that really haven't performed as well as they did last year. The dude on the defensive line, Frank Clark, and the other guy in the middle, Edwards, maybe, big dude. What's his name is playing well? Honey Badger, your boy, the Drew Brees sycophant. So they're due for a decent performance, I think. And nothing against the Bills. You're at the mountaintop, but you're in some rare air, and I'm just not sure that they're ready. And 3 points ain't. But I do like the over because if they get down, there's going to be 0 passes thrown by either team. Excuse me, 0 running plays called by either team. They'll both throw it 60 times.
Right. I think right now we're looking at the over as 54. So maybe we'll wait for the picks. You just say we're going with KC and over right now, and that's saying Mahomes is going to play.
Correct. Without Mahomes, it changes everything.
All right, moving on. Packers. Packers. They're -3, and I'm showing 51 as a total in this game.
This is another easy one for me. You're might look at me cross-eyed here.
Okay.
I'm all over the Brady's. The Brady-neers are gonna fucking come in there and smoke them.
Wow.
This team has not played well. They have 12 wins. They still haven't put it together on the offense. They held Michael Thomas to 0 catches, I think, last week.
0 catches.
Yeah, he had all kinds of surgeries, I think, this week. He would know better.
He's going to have 2. He's going to have 2 in the offseason, I believe.
Right. Well, clearly he wasn't right, but holding that dude to 0 catches is an accomplishment. Emmanuel Sanders had a decent day, not a great day, but that was just underneath type shit. So, again, Rodgers, dickhead, hard to root for, bad man, undeniable. He's broke my heart several times with the Cowboys. The other dude, Devon. I'm taking the points in this one.
All right, so we're going Packers, and what about? We're taking the Buccaneers. Buccaneers plus the 3
total. I mean, I could go either way. I mean, again, once the Brady, not Brady, Rodgers, if he's down 10 points, he's not going to run the ball once. If it's 11 minutes left in the third quarter, they're not going to run the ball. They'll run the ball 3 times the rest of the game. Because he'll just audible out of any running play that LaFleur calls. I don't know. 51 is kind of right there. I would go over before I went under, but I'm all. What do you think?
I didn't hear what you said, man. You cut it out. What?
Fuck. I said Brady's gonna win this one, no doubt.
All right, we'll see. It's a toss up for me. I'm down. I'm down with going down with Brady if we're gonna go down.
I mean, he's played in New England his entire career. The cold isn't gonna bother him. And I don't know that the Packers have been, challenged too much. And again, if they can do anything, if they can even hold Devontae Adams to 6 catches, 80 yards, and a touchdown, right, they win.
I got to be honest. I was impressed with the way the Buccaneers ran the ball last week, and Power ran the ball with Leonard Fournette and with their other running back, I think Jones. Two good power backs. Brings us an interesting question that came up on our Wager Makers talk group today. Quentin Ross asked, if you had a last-second drive right now, this week, who would you take, Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady?
Aaron Rodgers.
You answered that question a few seconds ago.
No, I would take Aaron Rodgers. Yes, Aaron Rodgers.
All right, well, hopefully it doesn't come to that this week.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. Brady is the GOAT, but he's just not there age-wise. I think the better team is certainly the Buccaneers. So.
All right, fair enough. So, and then another question we had, actually the one that Quentin asked was this. Aaron Rodgers retired this week as well. Hall of Fame, yes or no?
Aaron Rodgers?
Phillip Rivers, sorry.
Yes. First bout, he'll be up there with Drew Brees on the fucking podium, Smitt, getting that gold jacket.
I don't believe Rivers is a first ballot. I think he might get in. He's probably been long enough to get some numbers.
Go ahead, and I'll rebut.
To me, there's got to be times in your career to make it to the Hall of Fame when you're the top in the game at that time, whether it be a year or 2 years. I don't think ever there was a point in the last 15 years of Phillip Rivers' career that we said he's like he had the best season or he's one of the top 2 or 3. I think he's always, in my mind, he's always been a really good quarterback, but always being a really good quarterback isn't, to me, a Hall of Fame type quarterback. I'm sure he's got numbers that he built up over many years, but I never would say he's the top 2 or like his whole time. There was the Bradys, the Peyton Mannings. I'll say Drew Brees. You can say whatever the fuck you want about that. He just was, to me, he was always a very good quarterback, not a great quarterback.
First of all, the dude was in the league 17 years, so just off of that volume, he's going to have a lot of numbers. I think he's the number 5 in passing yards. The 4 guys in front of him are all going to. Well, Brees is one, obviously. He's going to get in. The other 3 are in. The guy behind him is Dan Marino. He's in. I think he started 250 games in a row or something like that. So 17 years. He's in AFC championships, many playoff wins. Just by the pure volume of it. You either get in by Super Bowls or stats. He's got no Super Bowls, and his stats aren't overwhelming like Marino's were, but he's better than Marino. Marino's in. Is that an argument?
I don't think he's better than Marino.
In every statistical category he is.
Well, statistics, again, to me, I'm talking about the eye test. It was a different game when Marino played. When you say he's better than, I didn't see Johnny Unitas, so I'm just saying it's a different. The stats are different now than they were then. And I'll say the same thing for Brees. The stats that he's putting up, it's a different game now than it was back when, say, Marino or Elway are around.
That's the best.
But I'm talking about watching a guy throw the ball. Marino was one of the best I've ever seen.
He's got an ugly mo. He's not pretty. I mean, it's a fashion show. You want to fucking Eli Manning's in. I'm talking
about playing the game. I'm not talking about the throwing motion.
He's got a bazillion wins. I mean, he's been playing for years. His teams have always been good. He's been a top 7 quarterback. He's been a top 7 quarterback for 15 years.
Top 7 doesn't make Hall of Fame in my mind. If you're in a top 7, and that's not the top 7 every year. That's not a Hall of Fame. That's a good quarterback.
I disagree. Yeah. Well, For that long, to sustain that level of play for 15 years, you're in.
To me, good doesn't mean Hall
There's
of Fame.
worse quarterbacks that are in. I'll say that.
And you say Marino is worse than Phillip Rivers? Was that your argument? I disagree with that.
Well, there's nothing for you to back up. There's no. What would back you up? What? Just because you liked how Marino throw the ball better than Brees threw the ball? Look at the numbers. The raw numbers are.
Marino's just better. Looking at him, just like when we talk about college football teams, who goes to that? Is it the resume, or when you watch them, which one's better?
About how you going to vote for someone to get in the Hall of Fame? You going to say because he throws the ball prettier, or you say who's got more yards, more wins, more playoff wins,
I didn't
and
say
played
nothing
longer.
about the motion of their arm. I'm talking about who's better thrower. Period. Who's better quarterback? I don't know anybody that's seen them both that would say Phillip Rivers is a better quarterback than Dan Marino. I don't know anyone that is that. I disagree with that if that's what you're saying, and we can disagree if you want. But to say Phillip Rivers is a better quarterback than Dan Marino, I don't think that at all.
He had a better career than Dan Marino.
Okay, two different things.
One's in the Hall of Fame. Why would one not be? I mean,
so why would you want Ohio State in the playoff? It's the same thing. You were talking about resumes or the eye test. You're talking about Phillip Rivers' resume. I'm talking about watching the guys play football. Who's better? Dan Marino's better quarterback.
Who's the better team over time? Ohio State or Clemson? No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
when we talk about who's going to the playoffs, we talk about resumes or the eye test. Just like Notre Dame has a great resume, but we know they're going to get ass kicked.
Okay, so who's the better team all time? Who deserves to get in the College Football Hall of Fame? Whoever we're arguing, A&M. That's not what we're asking. I'm saying this year. I'm not comparing apples to apples one season. Who had a better season? I'm saying who had a better career.
Dan Marino's a better quarterback than Phillip Rivers. I'll fucking go forever to say that.
The numbers dispute that. I will not agree with that. I don't agree.
All right, fair enough. We disagree. I mean, we disagree, but I don't know. I can't imagine. I'll start asking around who was better, Dan Marino or Phillip Rivers. I can't imagine anybody saying that Phillip Rivers is better than
one year, maybe. When Marino's first year, probably. But over the next, what about year 10? Who was better?
I would take Dan Marino today.
He'd lose.
Fucking Rivers. No, Phillip, no quarterback sneaking Rivers. But anyway.
That's a demerit for sure. How many quarterback sneaks did Dan Marino do?
I don't know.
Right.
All right. So just interesting though, Webb. Just since we were talking about Drew Brees or whatever, I was talking about Drew Brees. Odds came out today for who might be the quarterback for the Saints next year in this Odds Shark website. Just so we know, Taysom Hill is minus 250. Jameis Winston is plus 650. Drew Brees, surprisingly enough, is plus 300.
You don't want that. I'll tell you that right now.
No, I listen. I miss Drew Brees. I'll forever have great memories of Drew Brees. He shouldn't be the quarterback next year. But I'm going on record saying that.
You can't throw the ball from here to my house.
Tyrod Taylor is plus 1,400. Ryan Fitzpatrick is plus 1,400. Kyle Trask, not even sure who that is, plus 1,800. Trey Lance,
Florida.
Okay. Trey Lance, not sure who that is, plus 2,000.
Dakota State quarterback.
Mac Jones is plus 2,000.
Alabama.
And Zach Wilson is plus 3,300. So they got a couple rookies.
When do they pick in the draft?
I don't know. Probably late.
Well, they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything crazy, right? They don't have any picks from a trade or anything. The quarterback next year is going to be a combination of Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston.
Well, I think it's going to be primarily Taysom Hill, to be totally honest with you. But we'll see what happens. It's not going to be a case of – I don't think it's going to be a case of Jameis Winston plays a Drew Brees role and Taysom Hill plays Taysom Hill role. I don't think it's going to be that, but I could be wrong.
You'd be much better off with Jameis than Taysom Hill. The one thing you have is Sean Payton. He can game plan for anything, but it'll catch up to him.
Yep.
It's going to be a weird year because you need a quarterback.
Taysom Hill was 3-1, just for the record, 3-1 as a starting quarterback. Thanks to Sean Payton. Also, listen, when Sean Payton retires, I'll thank him too. All right?
That would be deserved.
All right. So that's the picks this week. We're taking the Bucks and we're taking KC, and of course this is contingent on Mahomes playing.
And the over.
And the over in Kansas City. I think that'll wrap it up for today. It's thank you for listening to my little thing. My little thank you to Drew Brees. I appreciate all the years and good times I've had with my buddies and my family in the Dome. And I will thank him for it. And that's the way it goes. Want to thank especially though Will Burr Investigations and over there in Monmouth County. Want to thank MN3 Technologies. Don't forget Thrive Fantasy, the Wager Makers, just not the Wager Makers. Wager Makers is the promo code there. If you put them in, I'm sure they have all kinds of props for these NBA games,
the time to do
playoff games, and everything. And we're going to try and get together. I think maybe some type of contest for March Madness, since that's coming up soon. Maybe we'll do some kind of bracket pool where you can win some money. And also, you guys, if to be eligible, you can get us some new listeners, some new subscribers and stuff like that to be eligible for the winnings. And want to thank you all. Devin's going to tell you real quick about how to get us on YouTube.
Hey guys, it's Devin. Make sure you subscribe to the Wager Makers podcast on YouTube, like all their videos, and click that bell so that you turn on your post notifications and you never miss another video. Thanks, Devin. And don't John Grove with the bumper music. Also C. Reilly and Little Saint the Goat. iHeartRadio, Google Play, you know all of them. Facebook, The Wager Makers Podcast. Get involved in the conversation at The Wager Makers Talk. Twitter at The Wager Makers. Instagram at The Wager Makers. And email us anything you want. TheWagerMakers@gmail.com. We were able to answer a couple questions of conversations that came up in Wager Makers Talk tonight, and that was fun. And it's been going good. The little debate we have going on the Facebook page there. It's a good time, so check us out. And everybody, thank you very much for listening. Hopefully you join us next week. Good luck in the games this week. Webb, take us out.
Brick by brick, baby. Thanks everybody for listening. You need to do Spotify or YouTube is what we would prefer. That would be the best for us if anyone cares. But thank you everyone for listening. We're going to come back. This is going to be a big week for us. Please check out our picks. We are heating up in hockey and college hoops. NBA is still a little bit of a mystery. Who knows what's going on there? But thanks, everybody. Brick by brick.
Welcome to the Wager Makers Podcast with Webb and Smitt.
Yeah. Hey, shout out Wager Maker Podcast.
Brick by brick, baby.
Yeah.
Here comes the Wager Maker
Here
Express.
I go. I hear y'all sick of losing money cause y'all don't know how to bet. Better hit that Wager Maker Podcast with Smitt and Webb. They gon' show y'all how to do this. Take these notes like y'all some students. Y'all can't seem to pick them right. Well, tonight y'all lucky night. It's that Wager Maker Podcast. Wager Maker Podcast. Wager Maker Podcast. Your bookie getting sick cause we built this brick by brick. It's that Wager Maker Podcast. It's that Wager Maker Podcast. It's that Wager Maker Podcast. Come and place your bets with that WM Express. Let's go.